I just realized I haven't pressed record, and if I don't record this, we cannot have it on YouTube later. So I'm gonna start over again. Hi guys. You know, actually, as I was thinking before, that I didn't have a story time to bring you today because it's been quiet / boring Monday, but now I do. I forgot to press record, so let's pretend I didn't say hello, and this week again, Salam bacha. Smart. I am smart in the head, as smart as Rostam was, but we will deal with that in another time. We're not gonna get with Rostam today. Who do we have here who's joined the session for another exciting afternoon, speaking about the Book of Kings? Oh, we have Aaron. Hello Aaron. Virit is here. Bachapov. Hello, so good to see you again. And then we have Kiwi, of course, and we have the sun who's hitting my side. Hello pal. What if I just close the curtain? Boom! Is it better? I think it's better. I mean, the reflection prevents. Oh, you can see the reflection on my glasses. I was saying hello to people. Salom, Chitori. Shoma Khovid. Oh, we have Claire, and I will learn this name, I promise. I can't see if it's an iron L. Is it Dulka or Duika? Duika, okay. Salom. Oh, Shalom. Yeah, Shalom Aaron. We are very international in here. Duika with I. Okay. Thank you. Hello Nurkas. Thank you everybody for joining me in another nice afternoon about, again, the Book of Kings. Hello Neisted. Just want you to quick reminder, this topic, the topic for today's week, has been voted by my patrons. Remember, if you support me on Patreon and you are tier Murshid, you get to vote what want to be in for the next live streams. And the topic for this week was to continue the session on the Book of Kings. And who am I? How could I refuse? Who am I to disagree with what my patrons say? Of course, welcome to everybody that's joined anew. If this is the first time you happen to be here, hello, my name is Laura, and I do these streams occasionally, once a week, one in English and one in Spanish. And what we're doing today is continuing on with the reading of the Book of Kings of Ferdowsi. If you don't know what this is, I suggest you go to another video that is going to be somewhere where we dealt with the first part and it actually introduced the book and explained a little bit further why this is important and what it's about. And yeah, today we're going to carry on. There's so many interesting things. I am so excited. So excited because today it's possible that we reach one of my favorite parts ever, as in the entire book, and it's not Simurgh, it's Zahhāk. I'm gonna just whisper it to you because you cannot say his name out loud. It is Zahhāk. I am such a big fan of Zahhāk. You have no idea. I cannot imagine, but you will now. So, but before starting, as always, huge thanks to my patrons, especially those of Tier Murshid who support me, and thanks to their help, I can't be here every week to bring you new content. Goku, are you properly placed? Yes, you are. And of course, thank you to all the people who's followed and subscribed to my Twitch channel. If you want to support me and you have an Amazon Prime account, remember you can log on and subscribe via Amazon Prime to Twitch, so you can support these creators and help me carry on with these streams, because these take time, these take effort, and I'm doing them willingly, but you know, there's bills to pay, so every little helps. Thank you already, and of course I am very happy to have you all here. I am so excited, and in case nobody's asked me yet, rude, I am drinking tea, in case anybody was wondering. I have it here, and I go, oh my dear, oh, demon in dancing shoes. This is my cup, and this is one of the biggest ones I own. It's not the biggest, but it's one of the biggest. And today I am drinking powerful rose black tea. And why rose? Well, because I don't know if you are a little bit familiar with the Iranian culture, but they basically enjoy rose as a plant. They enjoy rose as a flower, and they put it everywhere. And in the tea, it can make it very tasty, but it's a flavor you need to be familiar with, because there's a very good chance you won't like it. I do personally, but I don't let it stick too much, because if not, the rose flavor is too intense for me. It is good with milk and honey. Of course, my whole room stinks of rose tea, which is not a problem, at least not for me. Oh yeah, rose tea is a good tea. But, this is not Iranian tea, this is from India. My first teacher of English, she was from Mumbai, and she brought me this as a present a couple of years ago, and I didn't start drinking it until quite late in my life. I remember I had it with her every time we had class, in these lovely tiny, like Afghani / Afghani, Central Asian, Persian glasses, like these tiny crystal glasses. I love them so much. So yeah, good choice for tea. So who is ready? Hello, Typhoon. Who's ready for what's coming? Who is ready for what's coming? God, the emotion is real. You can feel it through my veins. Also, I left a mark. This is quite funny because I left a mark on the book, which is this one. But as you can see, my book is full of marks. So I don't even know if this serves any purpose, because I do remember where we stopped. I don't know. Let me check quickly something. I'm going to do a quick reading. Oh yeah. Oh my God, you guys are so into this. I'm so happy. Let me just... Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. Look at that. We are just one page away from him. All right, I'm going to tell you something before I will start reading. Before, I was talking to a friend in what I decided to coin as the stupid minutes. The stupid minutes are those minutes I have prior to the stream, where everything is too soon to prepare and too soon to sit here in front of you guys. But also it's too late to anything else, any different activity. So, what are they stupid? Because I just kill them. I kill the minutes, and normally I just annoy one of my friends who is a very lovely creature, and she's always there to answer my texts. And hello, Maraid. And I was talking about Zahhāk, kind of giving her a hint about what we were dealing with today, and I just admitted publicly I have a thing for Zahhāk, like a serious thing, which if you know already, Zahhāk is not a good thing to admit. I have a problem. What the hell is wrong with me? What the hell is wrong with me? So, without further ado, let's continue where we stopped. I'm going to do a quick recap, just very, very, very quick. But remember, there's always going to be a reading guide accompanying these episodes, which is going to be up in my blog, and the link will be somewhere. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is just down below. But if you're watching this on the stream, I will put it on Twitter possibly, or most possibly on Twitter. So last time we dealt with the first epic kings. We start with, can you guys remember what was the name of the king of the mountain? Oh, sorry, Goku, I'm really sorry. The beloved king in the mountain, whose name was... Far over the misty mountains cold. Yes, it was Q-Mars. No, the mountain was not Damavand, but that was close enough. It was it's spelled Q-Mars, but the Iranians pronounce it Q-Mars. So yeah, Q-Mars was the king of the far over the misty mountains cold, through dungeons deep and caverns whole. I don't remember the lyrics, but yeah. And then Q-Mars had a son who was Simurgh, and Simurgh had a son who was Hoshang. And we stopped after Hoshang's son, who was Tahmurez. Caverns all, thank you. One day we will sing all together. I don't know how yet, but I'm still figuring that one out. But we'll sing all together, far over the misty mountains cold, and we'll be very happy. So, If you remember something about Nowruz, which was the last king we talked about, he was called the binder of demons because he was a magician. He was a sorcerer king. And actually, do you guys remember the demons, the thieves were the ones who taught him how to write, how to spell, and how to speak different languages. And you also remember that after, whenever a king, a mythical king, considers that the duty in this earth is performed, they depart. They just leave the world. And that is what happened with Nowruz after he completed everything he felt he had to bring to the world. And now we start with the reign of Jamshīd, which is one of the most important characters in the Shāh-nāmeh. Jamshīd, as if you guys have been in Iran or you know a little bit about Iranian archaeology, you know Persepolis is also called takht-e Jamshīd, which means the throne of Jamshīd. It's going to be a loaded stream, let me tell you. So, let's continue from the death of Nowruz. All mourned when the binder of demons died. Remember, binder of demons, that is Nowruz. But his splendid son, Jamshīd, his heart filled with his father's precepts, then prepared to reign. Also remember, this is an epic poem, and the good guys are very good, and all of them are going to be handsome, smart, clever, awoken in spirit, But Jamshīd is very, very important. Do you want to know why? It's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but Jamshīd is the first king that screws up, because at this point mythical kings are starting to become slowly but steadily more human. Oh my god. So he sat on his father's throne wearing a golden crown according to royal custom. This is interesting too, because we see here Ferdowsi left us some notes about how the kings were garmented, how the attire of the kings were, and apparently they wore a royal golden crown. However, do not imagine this golden crown, the European style, at this this cylinder with pointy ends. Possibly will be more like a diadem, something like that, just like a strip of metallic material. In this case it's gold, but yeah, it's not the spiky one. It's just like a band around the head. The imperial far was with him. The imperial far was his. So the far, I am going to stop again because I think this is very important. Far is the heavenly glory. Far is the heavenly kingship God bestows upon kings, and this legitimizes their kingdom and their right to rule. If you have the far, you are entitled to the throne of the world, because remember, at this point everything is new, and we are talking about the crown of the world. And yeah, if you have the far, it's like it is described in other sources, in pre-Islamic sources, because this is something that comes from the Avesta, from the Zoroastrian text. It is described as sort of a divine light that shines around the person. More or less, if you picture in your heads, the Christian angels, when they have this halo around them, kind of, it's not just on the head, it will be like this shimmer the whole body of the person emits, like a glowy personality. Yeah, but just the halo things are just a comparison, so you guys can picture in your head, but it's not that they actually have, oh sorry, my eye is itching. It's not that they actually have a halo they go around with. It's something, far is an energy, something you can perceive, but it's not, they are not just neon puppets going around, if you know what I mean. So this is important. Oh, the sun is gone. Are you gone forever? For good? Ha! I don't like the sun. So, oh yeah, the imperial far was his. The world submitted to him. Quarrels were laid to rest, and all demons beds and fairies obeyed Jamshīd's commands. Remember, fairies is not a good translation. I like patties better, so I'm going to use patties. Repeating on. All demons, birds, and patties obeyed Jamshīd's commands. The royal throne shone with his luster, and the wealth of the world increased. He said, God's glory is with me, and I am both prince and priest. I hold evildoers back from the evil, and I guide souls towards the light. The light, of course. In this case, Jamshīd is based on a real character from Zoroastrian legends. However, bear in mind this is a Muslim book written after many centuries of monotheistic influence from monotheistic religions such as Christianity, Judaism, and Zoroastrianism, and then it came Islam. So, Islam being the youngest of the big monotheistic religions, because remember, Zoroastrianism is an henotheistic cult that is not that doesn't count as monotheistic because it just doesn't apply. But in the very beginning, Zoroastrianism was more about chaos versus order. After many centuries of influence from other religions, it became sort of dark versus light, evil versus righteousness. So here, what Jamshīd is claiming is he's both prince and priest, as if he holds the two powers, the power of religion and the power of, just the military, regular king power, which is something he's never done before. And this is because he's organizing a little bit more the world, making it become closer to what we understand as world. Also, I don't know when it's a good time to talk about Yima, the Zoroastrian character. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit more and then I will tell you about him because he's very interesting to know. So I'm gonna just take a sip of tea. And again, guys, you know the drill. You've been here before with me, and in case you're new, you can interrupt me at any moment. You can ask any question, and if you feel like I am being too stoppy or too jumpy, just let me know, because I know the story, but my goal is for you guys to know it very well. So yeah, are you guys, is it good for now? Also, I realized I'm not wearing my feathers. Very clumsy Monday today. Yeah, this is a bracelet with feathers. Because I like birds, and if you know the story of Simurgh, you know why I am wearing feathers. So, carrying on. First, he turned his attention to weapons of war, and he opened the way to glory for his warriors. So, basically, because remember, blacksmith and weaponry was discovered very recent ago. So let's just hit the world a little bit. His royal far softened iron, and his able mind taught men how to fashion helmets, chainmail, cuirasses, swords, and barding for horses. If you were with me the last time, you remember the reason Shāh-nāmeh was killed was because he was wearing just leopard skin. Now we have armor, which means now more brutal wars are able to happen. Oh dear. Occupied in this way for 50 years, he laid up stores of weapons. So guys, Jamshīd, I was going to call him Yima. He's not Yima. I wish he was Yima. Jamshīd spent 50 years, as in 50, just laying up stores for weapons. 50 years, just for that. Just imagine the arsenal, the ammunition you have after 50 years just crafting weapons. And then, for another 50 years, he gave his mind to the making of clothes, both for feasting and fighting, using linen, silk, and wool, and fashioning fine stuffs and brocades from them. He taught the arts of spinning and weaving, dyeing and sewing. The world rejoiced in his reign, and he too rejoiced. So, he says feasting and fighting. This is something that is very beautiful to say in Persian, is bazm and razm, which is the feast and the fight. And this is the two precepts a prince in this time should know. A prince, in order to be worthy, ought to master the art of hunting and combating and war, but also the art of feasting. And what does that mean? Is it just art of feasting? What's that mastering the art of feasting? Just knowing how to properly eat? No, is the art of know how to behave properly in court, how to speak to people, how to address to certain messengers or to certain dignitaries, to know everybody's place at the table, to know everybody's turn to speak, and to know when to raise the voice, when to ask questions, when to, just like managing his ways around the court life, which, let me tell you, sometimes could be worse than the battlefield. Very much worse. So yeah, Bazm and Razm was also the name of a beautiful exhibition that happened in the Metropolitan Museum. I don't remember when. It rings a bell, was something 2015. Is it 2015? If you guys Google it, you will know. You put Bazm and Razm in the Metropolitan Museum. I think it was 2015, 2014. Maybe it was before that. What a healthy old man, 100 years. He's not, Jamshīd is one of the longest reigns ever. Basically, Persian kings need to be like Ido, exactly. If you don't know who Ido is, I recommend you to go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mwah. And I know my pals in Mazander cast know who Ido is because they share amazing stuff. Guys, go follow Mazander cast. They do basically what I do, but in a smarter way. So quality content. Basically court etiquette, exactly, yeah. Yeah, they wanted to educate the princes for both things. So yeah, we have 50 years doing the weaponry, 50 years using his mind to, clothing and beautiful garments. This is the moment the fashion is at its most, because Jamshīd was a little bit, a little bit coqueto, we say in Spanish, a little bit. He liked looking nice. He was a fashionista all the time. And also, we have 100 years already. Then he spent another 50 years gathering the men of different professions about him. He separated those whose business is prayer and worship, assigning the mountains to them as their dwelling place. So he gathers up all the priests and all the people who spend their life praying, and he sends them to the mountains, as in, you are going to live there. Go, my people. Next, he drew up ranks of men who carry lances, the lion warriors, who give splendor to the army and country, who are the throne's support, and from whom a man's good reputation comes. The lion warriors do not imagine them as composite creatures, as in a man and a lion on the same thing. There's a number of reasons they could be called like this. And one of them is because they wore leopard skins, because if you remember, the white leopard is an animal that's highly deemed in Iranian culture, in Zoroastrianism, and in the Book of Kings. So basically, to prove you were a fierce warrior and that you were worth of the king's trust, you would wear in your helmet or on your like a cape or something, a skin from a leopard, preferably one you yourself would have killed. And we can understand them as a personal god, like the elite warriors from Jamshīd's army, because they are the support of this is very smart. Ferdowsi here makes a very smart point. He says these are the throne's support, and from whom a man's good reputation comes. If they are the elite members of your army, they are the ones who are going to be in charge of delivering victories for you, because they are supposed to be deadly. It's mostly me to you, my nearly heavy. Oh, don't worry, guys. I know your content is far better than that. Don't be too humble, Mazandercast. All right. So we have the priests on the mountain, and then we have the lion warriors close to him, because it's it's people you want to have close to you. And then the third group were those who worked in the fields, sowing and reaping and receiving no man's thanks, although no one reproaches them when it's time to eat. They are free men and quarrel with no one. And the world flourishes through the labor. As a sage once said, it's only laziness that will make a slave of a free man. The third group then, they are the agricultors, the people from the fields that cultivate the land, and it says here they get no thanks from anybody because they're very much taken for granted in this moment, which is no good. Always appreciate everybody's job is important. Especially now in this weird time of the world, what would have we done without these people? Plumas educating. The fourth group, sorry, it's a very good tea. I know I say that about every single tea that I drink, but believe me, I don't brag normally about a lot of things, but I brag publicly with you guys about my taste in tea. I have an excellent taste in tea. Some friends can prove it. I don't know if they're in the chat, but they can prove this. Comment over there if you can prove that I have an excellent taste in tea. What was I? No one's driving. No one's at the wheel. Oh yeah, the fourth group were the men who work with their hands at various crafts and trades. They are contumacious people and their hearts are always filled with anxiety. So here it's very important that we note that they make a difference between thank you, Claire. That they make a difference between people that work in the field and people who work in the arts and crafts with their hands. If we think of it, all these two groups as a whole, they work with their hands, but it's not the same exactly. It's not the same task, and it is important because now we have an awareness of what art is, as in art and artists. But back in the day, these tasks belonged to the craftsmen. There was no such thing as an artist. In fact, in Iran itself, until the very late 14th century, we do not find signatures in manuscripts, for example, of people signing them, the calligraphers or the artists. Again, very late in the 14th century, and this was finished in 1010. So you need to bear in mind at this point, art as itself is not a thing. Craftsmen are, like the arts and crafts are though a thing. Thank you, Lucas. I also saw your support message over here. Good friends, get yourself good friends like I have. And it is very interesting to see these descriptions of the world. Can you hear me properly? Because I have the feeling that Goku is just lightly back all the time. Maybe it's just me. So we have again 50 years doing the armory, 50 years doing the fashion arrangement of his world, then 50-year gathering men, and then 50 years arranging these martyrs so that each man was aware of his appropriate duties and knew his own worth and rank. So we have 200 years of Jamshīd just organizing things. Like he was a folder, and an office folder. He's just putting everything into categories, making sure everybody knows their place, making sure everybody knows the rank they belong to. And this is important because this is a demonstration of power. Jamshīd, as the bearer of the far, has the power to do these things, and whatever he says is law and must be obeyed. It's not like you could argue against him if you were born a certain thing in a certain. Just imagine this as a staircase. If you were born at a certain step, you will remain there because it was an order, and you will stay there, and this was your thing to do. Of course, possibly after, like in the real life, these things were not that solid, well, not that rigid, but this is a poem that is supposed to set an example for the rest of the world. So, I need to remove my post-it, but I can read. I mean, I use big post-its, but yeah, it says Jamshīd over here. Okay, ooh, I haven't removed this in quite a while. Oh my God, you can see the letters attached with that. I'm going to leave it here because I'm going to put it back again. Then, after these 200 years, yeah, biggest fact, I know, right? Never got tired. No, he's just not tired. Then he ordered the demons to mix clay and water and pack the mixture into molds for bricks. Jamshīd just invented construction. They made foundations of stone and plaster. Then, using the science of geometry, because Jamshīd just invented geometry as well, they made the superstructure with bricks. He is teaching the demons how to build things. In this way, they built public baths and castles and palaces that are the refuge against misfortune. He spent time extracting brilliant jewels and precious metals from rock, and so came into possession of rubies, amber, gold, and silver. He used magic to solve the mysteries of how this could be done. Oh my God, there's so much to talk about here. He introduced the use of perfumes like benzoin, camphor, musk, sandalwood. I love sandalwood smell, ambergris, and rosewater. And he discovered cures for illnesses, showing men the way to a good health. Oh my God, he revealed all these secrets, and the world had never known such an inquirer into her mysteries as he was. Then he turned his attention to water and ships, and so was able to travel quick from country to country. Another 50 years passed in these labors, and nothing remained hidden from his wisdom. Oh my God, so he did everything. So we're going to start with, in these 50 years, is somebody counting? Is this 250 years already? Let's just recap. So 50 with, where's my tea? 50 years with the weaponry, then 50 years to clothing, that is 100. Then 50 years gathering men, and then 50 years organizing said men, so that is 200, and then 50 years doing basically everything, that is 250, right? Oh yeah, thank you, Lucas, for giving. Guys, I need you to count for me. So, first of all, and this is very important, Jamshīd is the king that manages to get something from the demons, not as his ancestors would, because, you know, remember, the ancestors got, Tahmuras got the demons to teach him certain ways. He actually put the demons to work for him. He did that. He commanded the demons to work and to construct, you know, to do the labor, the hardest labor of them all, which is construction, mixing clay and water and making bricks. And they discovered how to work with stone and plaster. And again, he just because he discovered the science of geometry, because you need geometry and mathematics to do all of these calculations in order to bring just to build something. It is very important. Also, yeah, it's interesting, the buildings they mention here. He says they build public baths and castles and palaces that are refuge against misfortune. So Yima, in Zoroastrianism, Yima is a constructor king. All right, I think it's a good moment now to talk about Yima, because Yima is super important in Zoroastrian legends. So basically, Yima is a shepherd. Yima was never a king. You know, Jamshīd is a king, and he's a king by divine right, because at this moment he possesses the far. At this moment. And so yeah, Yima in the Zoroastrian legends was just a shepherd who Ahura Mazda, which is the wise lord, and he is the head of the Zoroastrian pantheon, turned to when a flood was coming. So basically, Yima built a structure which is called Var, but we don't know what that is. Some people call them the mountain, but some scholars believed it's some kind of construction inside the same mountain. Like, just imagine the mountain. He kind of excavated the mountain to make it inhabitable for not just humans but also animals. You know the story. He gathered a pair of each animal on earth and he put them there, and he prevented the animals to die and to drown, and so he did with humanity. Yeah, sounds very familiar. And if you want to check, we have already told this story in this channel. If you guys want to check our video explaining why the hell do we hate Gilgamesh, we have Utnapishtim there, and Utnapishtim went to something quite similar. So yeah, if you guys want to check that one out. Then Yima is bestowed with the power to organize things, and he is actually the one who starts building structures in the world after the flood. And Yima is also given the power to speak to animals because he's received the revelation from Ahura Mazda in the shape of a black bird. So the black bird goes to him, and this bird speaks, and Yima listens and understands suddenly. So Yima is the king, the Zoroastrian king that speaks the language of birds, and this is very important. So here also says that Yima spent a quite amount of time extracting brilliant jewels, and he understands the ins and outs of jewelry and jewel crafting. Here it says rubies, amber, gold and silver, which are possibly the most typical precious rocks to have, precious stones to have, and he said he used magic to solve the mysteries of how this could done. Jamshīd, as he inherited the magical powers from his father, from Tahmures, and he can perform magic as well, there's no problem. And then he introduced the use of perfumes, of nice perfumes, which are still so popular in Iran, so popular, especially musk and sandalwood, and also rose water. Rose water is fantastic, and it's very, I don't like it for drink because in Iran you can drink it. I like it to perfume stances, but yeah, you can use it as a perfume because sometimes you can put it on your wrist and in the back of your neck or in your ears, but you can also drink it. I like abegol, they say in Iran. I'm not a huge fan, but hey, each to their own. Are you trying to say these are all well told stories? They are indeed very well told stories. I enjoy them a lot, and yeah, they are recurrent stories in many societies and cultures. What else? Oh, this is very important. He discovered cures for illnesses, showing men the way to a good health. Super important. Yima. Why do I keep calling... Right, I keep calling him Yima because I like Yima much more than like Jamshīd. And if somebody who's a big fan of this book hears me say that, they're gonna kill me. But I don't... Jamshīd is not exactly my cup of tea. And I never hidden my preferences in this channel because it's my Twitch channel. So, yeah. What else? He revealed all these secrets, and the world had never known such an inquirer into mysteries he was. Then he turned his attention to water and ships, and so was able to travel quickly from country to country, and another 50 years passed in these labors, and nothing remained hidden from his wisdom. So basically, like no big deal. He discovered ships. He discovered how to sail, and yeah, no biggie. 50 years, I know, but he's done so much already. What's 50 years for Jamshīd? We said 250, right? We're in 250 now. Although, and this is where the plot starts to thicken, Jamshīd was not content. Jamshīd wanted more. Don't be greedy, guys. Don't be greedy. Now we come to a very important point, which is the festival of Nowruz. Nowruz is the new year for Zoroastrians and for Iranians too, which is celebrated on the spring equinox, the beginning of spring, normally 21st of March. If you were following me long enough, I celebrated Nowruz this year and I put up my table. I will do another stream of Nowruz possibly next year. If I'm still here by next year on Nowruz, we'll talk about that. But now, as I said, Jamshīd wanted more. And I'm going to quote Queen here. Is it Queen? I think it's a song by Queen. I want it all. I want it all. Yeah. Although Jamshīd had accomplished all these things, which is he did a lot of things, he strove to climb even higher. Higher, higher, to where the skies end. That is another good song. It's called To Where the Skies Ends by Starset. I entertain you, but I recommend good music to you too. With his royal far, he constructed a throne studded with gems and had demons raise him aloft from the earth into the heavens. There he sat on his throne like the sun shining in the sky. what is this? What are you doing, Jamshīd? So he made the demons carry on the backs his throne and impulse him to the heavens so he could be shining like the sun, because he started to believe he was the son of this world, because he brought so much enlightenment. You wish, Jamshīd. I mean, no, like, let's give him some credit. He did a lot of good things, but dude, it's like, don't be... No. Somebody asked, no, I'm not Iranian, I'm Spanish. The world's creators gathered in wonder about him and scattered jewels on him and called this day the new day, or Nowruz. This was the first day of the month of Farbardin, which is the first month of the year, and again it coincides with the beginning of spring. At the beginning of the year, when Jamshīd rested from his labors and put aside all rancor. His nobles made a great feast, calling for wine, calling for musicians, and this splendid festival has been passed down to us as a memorial to Jamshīd. So, this sentence could be read nowadays and it would be the same as before. Remember, 10:10 is the moment this is finished, and he already says this splendid festival has been passed down to us as a memorial to Jamshīd. We can read this now and it will be entirely true, because this is the way it is yet. So here, when you celebrate in Nowruz, again, is the equinox of spring, and then back in the time they already considered Nowruz as a gift from the mythical King Jamshīd, who had established that new day, new era, when he flew from the earth and he conquered the heavens, which is something, if you know something about ancient cultures, you know they're obsessed with conquering the heaven, because it's the only place humans cannot possibly go to. So if you conquered the heavens, congratulations, you did the greatest deed of them all. However, what Jamshīd did was greedy. What Jamshīd did was not necessary. He overused his power. He took advantage of his magnificent power to use it for something as stupid as just making a throne. They just packed it with jewels, and I'm gonna close the window again, and packed it with jewels and some stupid paraphernalia to just make him be seen as a true god almost. And remember, there's already a god in this book. Do you know where this is going? Can you feel where this is going? How many years again, guys? We said 250? I mean, after 250 years of bossing around the world, it can get all into your head. You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That is so true. What a beautiful phrase, Budget Puff. See, go follow Mazandercast. So yeah, we said 250 years. 300 years went by and death was unknown during that time. Men knew nothing of sorrow or evil, and the demons were their slaves. The people obeyed their sovereign, and the land was filled with music. Years passed, the royal fire radiated from the king, and all the world was his command. 300 years partying in a row. And as we mentioned on the first session, there is no problem whatsoever when drinking your life out in this book. Wine is already mentioned. So 300 years partying like mad people, drinking, dancing, doing all the things I cannot mention because censorship. And with all the demons as your slaves. And the fire, at this moment, the fire is so burning inside Jamshīd because he accomplished so much. He did so much for the world. So much to make the world a better place for us humans to live in. But still, it was not enough. Jamshīd surveyed the world and saw none there, whose greatness or whose splendor could compare with his. And he who had known God became ungrateful, proud, forgetful of God's name. Oh my God, it's descending, it's descending. So at this moment, Jamshīd started his doom because he started to believe he was more powerful than God, who was the reason he was this powerful. And for the first time in forever, for the first time since the creation of the world, the Far was a danger. Jamshīd summoned his army commanders and 8 advisors. Like he just eradicated death from existence. People just do not die. They don't die. Demons are their slaves. Death is completely stopped. The world has been partying savagely for 300 years. Everything is perfect. Everything is bloody perfect now. But all good things come to an end. So he summoned his army commanders and 8 advisors and said, I know of none in the world who is my equal. It was I who introduced the skills and arts of living to mankind, and the royal throne has seen no one to compare to me. Dude, you're forgetting your ancestor, Shāh-nāmeh, the only real true king of the mountain? Big-headed. I arranged the world as I wished. Your food and your sleep and your security come from me, as do your clothes and all your comforts. Greatness, royalty, and the crown are mine. Sorry. Do you see why I like Yima better than I like this guy? Who would dare say that any man but I was king? All the elders inclined their heads, since no one dared gainsay anything he said. But, I'm gonna take a moment. I need some tea. This is a big moment, guys. What's going to happen is to summarize in one line, because Ferdowsi is short with words. I mean, he has a lot to say. But what I am just about to tell you is going to be huge, and it's going to repercute in the rest of the book massively. The drama, can you feel the tension? Maybe you can't. I do. Oh, I love this book. By saying this, he lost God's Far. And through the world, men's murmurings of sedition grew. As a wise and reverend man once remarked, if you are a king, be as a slave towards God. The heart of many man who is ungrateful to God will be filled with countless fears. Jamshīd's days were darkened, and his world illuminating splendor dimmed. He's lost the Far. He's lost the divine right to be a king. For the first time since Shāh-nāmeh, humans had lost the protection of God. And more specifically, this big-headed of a king has just thrown through the window everything his ancestors did. Everything Shāh-nāmeh, Simurgh, Hoshang and Tahmud accomplished. Gone. Thank you for the follow. It's absolutely gone, and the world is filled with dark and shadows. Damn it, Jamshīd. Everything because he never knew where to stop. Because fair, whenever you are protected by God's power, you're invincible, you're capable of everything, and he did everything. But you know, you should do some things without expecting anything in return, because you are a good king who cares for their people. Gone. Is absolutely gone. The Far has abandoned humanity. And because the land of the Iranians was just abandoned by Far, the Far just run away. To the south, shadows were gathering, getting ready for the strike. And this is how we enter the tale of Merdās and his son, King Zahhāk. I'm not going to go through the whole tale of Zahhāk because I really want to dedicate a very big part of it. But we're going to read the first bit. We're gonna read a little bit. Merdās, what is that? Is there a question? This question might be a bit dumb. In ancient Chinese culture, there's this notion of the rule of heaven. Is Far like that at all? Not really. I mean, in Chinese culture, what happens is that heaven rules and the earth is mimicking, through the figure of the emperor, they are mimicking whatever happens in the heavenly court. In this case, we have God, that you should not imagine as a person, because in these contexts, in the Iranian Islamic context, God is not a person. It doesn't have the human shape or anything. Is an energy, is a force, and you can see this in the Shāh-nāmeh very well, because he communicates all the time through other people, like Sorush. Do you remember Sorush, the angel? And this energy can shine off some of his light and of its light, because no, I'm not going to call him, of its light, and then give it to somebody God deems worthy of carrying it. So in this case, God gave this energy to these Far, this protection, this legitimation. This is the key word. This legitimizes kings. So nobody can argue they are kings, or nobody can just reply, or just rebel against them or plot against them, because it's the rightful place to be. However, if they do not have Far, if Far does not exist in this earth, everybody could be king. So this is what's going to happen from now. And yeah, so I hope I've answered your question. Oh my, I've been speaking almost for an hour. Ooh. What do I do? Do I introduce the tale of Zahhāk, or do I leave it for the next session? What do you want me to do? I'm going to put the post-it back. Probably for the next, so we will not forget. And I cannot read the last part, sorry, Aaron. He says, he, I think. Aaron is laughing maliciously, mischievously. I can watch for another 30 minutes before I have to go. I'm not gonna do this for longer, so I'm gonna read a bit, because I want I want the cliffhanger to be properly put in place, so you guys know what's coming. But I'm not gonna go deeper into this. Oh, actually, we can comment on certain things through this, and yeah. So let me just think of what we're doing. Yeah, I think I know. So we start this part of the poem with the tale of Merdās and his son Zahhāk. In those days, in the land of the Arabs, there was a good and fine king who sighed with fear before God. His name was Merdās, and he was a man of great generosity and justice. Each of the herds he had entrusted to his shepherds numbered 1,000, whether of cows, of Arab horses. Arab horses are super important in the poem, or goats, or milk-giving sheep, and he freely gave milk to anyone who needed it. Okay, important. So Merdās is a very nice guy. Merdās is a very nice king. So there's few things here to notice. First of all is the appearance of another tribe, the Arabs. Because even though the world is new, this is a little bit confusing, but you need to stick with me with this one. So we started the poem with the creation of the world, and in this creation it appeared that only the Iranians were counted as people living there. However, it is not the case, because after, when the Deves teach Tahmures all the languages, he discovers there's like Chinese and Sogdian and Arab and then the Western languages. So this is a book that's just it doesn't tell the formation of the world, but the Iranian world. This, what we are reading, it's happening in Iranian lands, or what it was to believe Iranian lands, which were a little bit more extensive than the Iran we know nowadays. So the Arabs are always, in the poem, because of how it was written, the Arabs are always sign of no good, because in the mid 7th century, it was the Arab armies that invaded Persia, or what was considered Persia, and they brought Islam with them. Again, remember, they don't have a problem with the religion. It's more a question, it's a matter of identity, of being Persian and being Arab. The two different things, they could not be together, they could not be joined. They are completely polar opposites. And generally speaking, through the poem, the Arabs always have a negative connotation. Nevertheless, we have Merdās, and Merdās here, he is an Arab king, and you heard him, he's generous and he's just, and he's a given man, he's a righteous character, and he's such a nice character. But hey, I was mentioning something about clouds darkening in southern lands. I was mentioning something about shadows and evil coming together. Where are they then? Well, this righteous man had a son whose character had very little kindness in it. He's not kind. He was an ambitious youth named Zahhāk, brave, turbulent in his mood, and of evil disposition. Everyone called him Bivarasp, a Pahlavi word meaning 10,000 horses, because he had 10,000 Arab horses, all with golden bridles, there was no way Ferdowsi had seen 10,000 Arab horses, Chinese horses, whatever horses, because 10,000? No way. He spent most of his days and nights riding them, not into battle so much as to demonstrate his wealth and greatness. Another big-headed character. And we need to take, so Bibarasb is, what is the meaning of these horses? Why the high number and why the Arab horses? So as I explained before, I'm going to grab my tea. As I explained before, Arab horses in the Shāh-nāmeh are a symbol of wealth and of power, because they were ridiculously expensive. Even in this time, in Al-Andalus in Spain, Arab horses were such a fine good to get. Very expensive, very, very expensive. But owning even one was a sign of social recognition. If you were a king, of course, you were expected to have a lot of those Arab horses. If you were an Arab king, you were supposed to have almost every Arab horse in the land. So as you see, representing Zahhāk with so many horses is a way of, first of all, describing his position. He is a prince. Second of all, of describing his wealth. He's a prince with Arab horses. And also, just to tell you how Zahhāk enjoys to show off, because he doesn't ride into battle, he doesn't ride into hunting, he just rides for fun, which is something I share with him. I like riding for fun, but he just, rides around to show people his wealth and his might, and all his horses have golden bridles. Okay, not needed. So here is very interesting, because you see how much Zahhāk and Jamshīd look alike, at least to me. And remember, this is my reading, I'm going to do my comparisons. I love Zahhāk's character. I really like him so much. He has so much potential. He's just, I don't know if I can say this word. Can I say? he's a bastard. He's a very big bastard. He's such a boasty bastard, and he is not ashamed of it. So yeah, at this moment Zahhāk is very young, and Merdās is the one who's reigning, and he is a very nice man who's suffering about his son, which is not growing into a fine character. No, polar opposite to that. He is of evil disposition, which is something very bad to say about your own son, but hey, it is what it is, I'm afraid. Also, the number 10,000. So numbers, I'm not implying here there's some kind of magic ingrained into these numbers, but to say 10,000 is more a symbol than a reality. I mock Ferdowsi every time. You're gonna hear 10,000 emeralds, 10,000 rubies, 10,000 elephants, 10,000 horses, 10,000 slaves. You're gonna hear this number a lot through the poem, and this is because it's a symbol more than a reality. Again, I explain. It's a way of saying a lot. A lot of a lot, a triple a lot, which is like 4 times, 5 times a lot. And instead of saying that, they give a very high number, 10,000 horses. Can you just picture in your mind 10,000 mugs, for example? Not even horses, as grown adult horses. 10,000 anything. Just write. I want you to write in the chat 10,000 somethings. Let's try not to repeat. I start 10,000 cups of tea. You go. It's just to exaggerate, to make a point. Yeah. 10,000 Narutos. The ones you can eat. $10,000 reals, which is not much, but it is something. It used to be something. Come on, guys, give me 10,000 something. Oh, 10,000 kitties. 10,000 Egyptian cats. Egyptian cat as the Sphinx cat. Those two are hairless. They are so cute. They look royal. Those look royal. 10,000 warriors like the Anabasis. 10,000 Gilgameshes. Lucas, get out. Never in the world. All right. So yeah, you seen here at this point, it's just for the sake of being exaggerated, of explaining how wealthy the kingdom of Merdās was and how wealthy Zahhāk himself was, because this is important. The person who owns the horses is not his father, it's him. So we are to imagine there were more horses in the stable, and yeah, you show yourself out, you know where the door is. So there's more horses, we are to imagine, and these are only Zahhāk's. So yeah, in this point, it's just for the sake of being exaggerated and for the sake of creating this massive presence of somebody in a negative way in this case. Because you will see when we get to the part of the point, you will see there's a positive connotation of having 10,000 whatever. In these cases, not. So yeah, this is just the introduction of Zahhāk as a youth. And because it's been an hour already, guys, we are gonna stop here. Sorry, I'm gonna do the dramatic closing because last time you really enjoyed it. I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna read one sentence and then we can give this, we're gonna call this a day. He was an ambitious youth named Zahhāk, brave, turbulent, and of evil disposition. And we are finished here. Don't worry, guys, I know exactly where we stopped, but I'm gonna put my mark. Where is it? Come here, Bubba. So enjoy. So guys, thank you so much for joining this second part of the reading of the Book of Kings. Welcome to everybody that's new, that's incorporated. Again, there's another part, which is the first one, where I explain exactly what this book is about, what is the fuss about this book, and why is it important. I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. I do not particularly like Jamshīd, as you already know, but I think he's such an important character to know certain things. For example, the stupidity of men, which is repeated and brought back constantly in this book. Oh, also, if you want to be able to vote for whatever's coming next, be it another reading of the Shāh-nāmeh or other topics, be sure to pass on to my Patreon, because my patrons of tier Jamshīd can actually vote for future content. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Again, thank you to my patrons, and thank you to everybody that's joined, who's followed, who's subscribed. You help me a lot with this. I am very happy to be here every Monday with you. And if you have any further questions before I leave, I'm going to take a sip of water and give you time to ask anything you'd like. And if not, we just can call it a session here. I'm really happy you guys are enjoying it. I'm having the time of my life rereading the Shāh-nāmeh, because as I sometimes explain this to you, this is a very important book to me, and because of that, I've read it like a million times. Oh, behind you, Baba. So yeah, I've read it like a million times, but it's always good reading it. And yeah, who would make a better king, Gilgamesh or Jamshīd? Definitely Jamshīd, because Gilgamesh is just the Gilgamesh is a good for nothing, and yeah, Jamshīd, at least he did something for humanity. He accomplished not something, he accomplished a lot of things, a lot. What was the one thing you liked that he did? Everything. I really like. My favorite part though would be the discovery of medicine, and also you know, takht-e Jamshīd is called like that, as in Persepolis, because it's the place. You know, the festival of Nowruz was celebrated in Achaemenid times, and possibly other later times. Persepolis was the city that served as a major point of celebration for the new year, Nowruz, which was celebrated before Yima started. And because Jamshīd was thought to build these var and these constructed, he's a construction king, and there's a legend that says that Jamshīd was actually the legendary king who built Persepolis, which is not the case. We know now it was built by Darius I, and then continued by Xerxes, his son Xerxes, and Artaxerxes, his grandson. But yeah, they have a very strong correlation with the place, so much that even today it's called takht-e Jamshīd, and no Iranian calls it Persepolis. And yeah, but I would say the one thing I would rescue from everything he did was medicine. Yeah, either construction or medicine. I think construction, because I am an art historian and I love Persepolis and Aksharustam and all these places I had the privilege to go to. However, medicine, as you know, for humanity, that was a big deal too. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining with me. I am looking forward already to see you next Monday. Remember, if you want to join our streams, they're not every Monday, at least for now they are Monday at 6 p.m. British summertime. And if you happen to speak Spanish, as I do, you can join on Friday, and those will be at 6 British summertime too. It's been my pleasure to have you here. I hope you have a fantastic week, and you know, stay safe, drink nice cups of tea, and yeah, stay safe and be very, very happy. Without further ado, I shall now depart, and we shall all depart to our endeavors. I don't know what you have to do today, but yeah, I hope you have a very, very nice beginning of the week, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.